So we're going to talk about customizing your user interface. I'm going to highlight a couple different areas and a couple different levels about things that can be done and can be saved within in how the user interface displays. First one, the main tab. After probably about 2 months ago, this came up, and it appeared not everyone was aware of it, is the main tab. And what I mean that is all of these tabs that have capture, adjust, process, select, count size, etc. Those can literally be turned on and off. To do that, and I'll go through a very short live demo after we get through the PowerPoint, is by simply right mouse clicking on any one of where the names are in these tabs, you'll see a little dialog box come up that'll say show and hide tabs, and you can simply turn these on and off. So if you need to simplify the user interface for a few people or hide a few tabs, remember we do have our user logins where you can set up Image Pro based upon user login about what interface will be shown. Per user, you can actually set these up to hide certain whole ribbons in essence. In the individual ribbons themselves, you can also turn groups on and off. And as you remember, a whole group is defined by the text here, whether it's, for example, in the count size ribbon, segment, count. Each one of these where this name is actually a group. And so you can, by simply right mouse clicking, again, within the ribbon now, you'll see another dialog box come up again following the same methodology where you can actually turn on and off the individual groups, show and hide them. They don't go away. We're simply hiding those groups. Again, then that can be saved, can be recalled again within either, per user login. Custom ribbon. Everybody should be aware of this, but just as a reminder, there is a custom tab within Image Pro, and you can drag and drop groups into here. So if you have someone working, and I've done before where someone, it was just a thing where they had to do a lot of manual measurements, a lot of manual tweaking. It was just the nature of their sample. It wasn't really open to automation. Is by simply creating a custom ribbon, we set up a workflow here so you didn't have to go bouncing back and forth among multiple tabs. A couple of different ways of doing it, but this was a very simple and straightforward way of, we created a custom tab for them with the workflow laid out by simply dragging and dropping groups over into the custom ribbon. Saving user interface layouts. Just as a reminder, under the view group, the view ribbon, the tools, you can load and save layouts. There's a number of layouts already included, but you can set up where different dialog boxes, where the measurement ribbon shows up, or measurement dialog box shows up, or the image strip. You can move those dialog box areas, the measurement tables, you can move those around to how you like to have those laid out. And again, also having either the main tabs or individual ribbons modified. You can also save those layouts, and you can save those here and then recall them later. Maybe you have an analysis only, where you have capture completely hidden, for example, even though capture is available if someone's doing some type of review. When they log in, they don't need access to all these other tools. Again, you can save those in the layouts and then recall them. There's also, again, if you've modified things and you want to get them all back and you forget, there's always the reset all tools layouts, redock all tools. That puts them back into the default factory state where everything goes back into its normal location. And a handy tool to do the reset if for some reason someone's dragged things around and you're not sure where they are, they're kind of hidden, you can always do the reset. Quick Access Toolbar, similar to what's in Microsoft Office in the upper left-hand corner of the Image Pro desktop. There are a number of shortcuts included: do and undo, print, image information, close all images. What's really nice about this is you can modify this to put other shortcuts up here by simply using the drop-down in the Quick Access Toolbar, more commands, and then you can browse through There's also some shortcuts here based upon different commands. And then just simply add those with the Add button, and then they'll show up in the Quick Access Toolbar. So if you're doing something a number of times and doing the same thing over and over again, instead of having to move back and forth between ribbons, you can put those up in the Quick Access Toolbar and create those shortcuts. What's also nice about the Quick Access Toolbar, if anybody who's been writing macros, is you can also link a macro into the Quick Access Toolbar by doing one simple thing. After writing your macro and developing it, testing it out, going through the normal steps and processes of creating a macro, within the Project Workbench is the easiest place to do this, is look at Project Explorer. Here's one that I wrote called CZ4. Again, the normal structure module, and then my macro is CZ4 count. So instead of always having to use the drop-down to call this macro, I can put it into the Quick Access Toolbar as shown here in the bottom left. To do that, when I highlight the macro itself, just like every command, every macro has a set of properties associated with it. In this case, there's a line, Quick Access, and a simple checkbox that by turning that on to yes, that will put a shortcut link to that macro. So all I have to do is, if I'm doing the same things or same operations or same SOPs over and over again, all I have to do is click on the shortcut for that particular macro by highlighting over it. It will show what macro it is, and it will also show what location. Again, it's just a simple way of calling up and doing the same things over and over again, making it easier to access it. So let me just do a very quick live demo, just highlighting some of these details that I was mentioning, and I'll open up an image also just to make it a little more interesting. As mentioned, by clicking on any tab, all the tabs will show up, and I can simply turn them on and off. So if I want to hide the Process tab, for example, I can hide the Capture tab, and you'll notice they automatically, right now, are hidden. And when I close the image pro down and reopen it, they will remain hidden. Again, I can save these changes by saving these layouts, use per user and user login. And if I need to recall them, I can simply bring them back by clicking on any one. Same thing is true for groups. By clicking within any ribbon, you can see here where I can turn on and off different groups. In this case, if I turn off the classify, and maybe I don't need the image group, for example. I just care about a couple of the groups. I can simply hide them to simplify the user interface. Again, I can simply turn these back on and off. Quick Access Toolbar. Again, it's simply more commands. And if there's some other type of particular feature I always add, I can simply select it. I'll just here, if I'm always doing a polygon, for example, I can simply add it, hit OK, and now the polygon has been added. One other thing, if anyone's run into it, I've seen some people do it where they actually accidentally minimize the ribbons here. With this drop-down, there's a minimize ribbon. If you've ever get into this state, it's possible to do it by clicking around without realizing it. It's rare, but it does happen. It's in the drop-down, you can maximize the ribbon. The idea was to give a little more working space, a little more desktop space. All right, so that was just a quick review. If anyone has any questions, please put those in the chat window, and we'll go over those before we go into our next section.